Another episode of Tarot by Hilary live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friend, do not argue with me. You have intuition. I believe everybody has intuition. So on tonight's episode, no real topic planned besides giving you the astrology for this weekend, today and this weekend, and also giving you the weekend forecast and checking up on you if you happen to be doing this crazy thing called National Novel Writing Month, aka Nanowrimo, in which you write a 50,000 word novel in one calendar month. So last week's episode, we revisited an episode that I did quite a few months back, actually. I think back in 2019, Tarot for Writers, in which we talked a little bit about how my writing process, how I brainstorm things, and also how I bring tarot into the writing process for brainstorming ideas, for character creation, and also for overcoming any sense of writer's block that I might have. And I do this for both fiction and nonfiction. So if that is something that is interesting to you, please go ahead and check out that episode. We revisited it last week, so you can check out that episode, the revisiting, or you can also check out the episode entitled Tarot and Writing from either of my playlists on Facebook or on YouTube. So I'm just going to quickly show that in the stream so you can see the thumbnail, so you can quickly and easily identify it. It's just called Tarot and Writing, and it's got blonde me. This is before I dyed my hair purple. COVID quarantine purple. I'm going to call this color. So you can see we recorded this last year, but all of the things that I said in that original episode, I reiterated last week, in which it's basically don't use tarot for divination. You don't have to know the divinatory meanings of the tarot cards. You're basically using the pictures on the tarot cards as a jumping off point for brainstorming your own stories, your own characters, protagonist, antagonist, and also breaking through any writer's block that you may have. So check out that episode, either last week's revisitation of that episode or the original episode. So hello, Katie. I think are you still on Facebook hiatus? If so, I understand. I think a lot of people may be jumping ship from Facebook, and I completely understand that. So, like I was saying before, no particular topic in mind for this week's episode besides us continuing to focus on writing aspects or using tarot for writing, for brainstorming, for character creation. I actually did want to open up this episode to pulling cards. If you happen to be working on a NaNoWriMo novel and you're feeling a bit stuck and you want me to pull a tarot card for you to help you possibly give you some brainstorming, some ideas for you to implement into your NaNoWriMo novel, I'm totally with it, and I would love to do that for you. Hi, Dina. Yep, still on break from Facebook. Hello, Dina. How are you doing? Oh, no. Did I not? Oh, never mind. It's okay. I thought my settings were off, but anyway. So hello, welcome to everybody. But first, we want to talk about the astrology for this week. Now, it has been a very big week astrologically, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everything is copacetic on the YouTube side, but considering most of you are tuning in through YouTube, I'm seeing, oh, and here's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the broadcast. Third witch of the day. Which were your first two? Hold on. Let me see. Well, I'm going to assume that everything's copacetic on the YouTube side because most of you are tuning in through YouTube. So I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to assume everything's copacetic, and if it's not, let me know, and I would be happy to address any tech issues that you may be experiencing. Let me put my phone over here out of the way and let me get some hydration going. So what I was saying before, we have had a big week astrologically. Oh, third witch. Got it. I get it. Teresa and Angela Mary Magic. Oh, did Angela Mary Magic do a live today as well? I missed that. I also missed Teresa's live this morning too. So, yep, Katie and you were in sync. Cool. All right. So, astrology. Speaking of Teresa Reed, let us talk about the astrology from the Astro Biz Digest from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. So, off the top of my head, I don't have my notes up yet, but I will pull them up shortly. I do remember her saying that this is a big week astrologically, a lot of things going on. But the part of it that I most wanted to focus on was the fact that Mars is no longer retrograde. Mars has gone direct or will go to direct. I think it might be today or it could be this weekend. I think it's today, actually. Also, we are talking about... oh, okay. I did not know that Angela Mary Magic does one every Friday. So I guess I'm in sync with her too. Cool. Friday afternoon. So guys, if you want to hear from another really awesome witch, Angela Mary Magic, she's very good. You should follow her. I think she's mostly out on Instagram though. I don't know if she has a Facebook presence, which is totally fine. So from what I'm remembering from the AstroBiz Digest for this week, it was a big week astrologically, lots of things going on. But what I really focused on was the fact that Mars is now direct or will be direct. Yes, Mars turns direct on the 13th, which is today. So we are on Friday the 13th, guys. I've tried to downplay that as much as possible, but to me, honestly, Friday the 13th have always been lucky for me rather than unlucky. So I try and take that energy and turn it around if I can. So because Mars is direct, suddenly we're all prepared to put the pedal to the metal as we race toward the end of the year. This is your green light to get a move on with any projects or launches that have been idling at the start line. It's also your cue to blaze trails, start new things, or begin rolling out your holiday promotions. Giddy up. Mars will remain in Aries until January 6th, 2021. So for me, my natal Mars, which is my birth chart, my natal Mars is in Aries. So the fact that Mars is in Aries right now and direct, that's like super great for me. I feel like it has this like go-getter energy to it. And since I already have that in my birth chart, it just kind of ramps up the energy even more so. So I'm definitely feeling it, and I'm definitely happy that it's direct instead of retrograde. Yes, exactly, Dina. Tonight at 7 p.m., Aries will be happy. Yeah, I'm a very happy Aries right now, especially being a triple Aries. My Sun, my Venus, and my Mars. So if you have any inkling of what that means astrologically, then you kind of have a sense of how I roll with those three things in that placement. Oh, good. So Katie's saying Friday the 13th has always been a good luck day for me too. Awesome. Great. Well, that's what we want to hear, guys. So let's just get right into the Astro weather from Teresa Reed for today and for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, guys, is looking really busy astrologically. So like strap in, pour yourself a cup of something strong or not. We've got a lot to cover. So Friday, today, Another day for a slow start. The moon is void at 6:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so keep your new ideas on hold until the moon enters Scorpio at 11:19 a.m. At that time, you can put your energy into top secret projects, strategy sessions, and business finances. Sign new contracts for joint ventures at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the moon is conjunct Mercury. This is a great slot for negotiating a sweet financial deal. Mars direct at 7:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time means it's go time. So soon, very exciting. After months of retrograde motion, everything is ready to roll. Read the info above the scopes to learn more. So I already did that, guys. P.S. If you've been itching to launch something before the end of the year, you're cleared for takeoff. So today is a power day for Scorpio and a weak day for Taurus. Everyone with me so far? Yeah. Dina says you are hot. Yeah. Venus in Aries and Mars in Aries. I'm a little bit of a handful. Let's just put it that way. All right. So Saturday and Sunday, this weekend, the cosmos are busy. Saturday is excellent for leadership, especially in the afternoon where the sun sextiles Pluto at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the perfect opportunity for inspiring others. Look at what you can do to motivate your community. Get folks dreaming of a bigger vision when the moon trines Neptune at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see the future and galvanize your people now. The good leadership aspects continue into the evening, making Saturday one of the best for events, presentations, lectures, or anything that positions you as a thought leader. Sunday morning, the new moon in Scorpio arrives at 12:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're up at this hour, set intentions around finances, joint ventures, secret projects, or taxes. Read the info above the scopes to learn more about this potent Kazemi moon. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to say it anyway. New moon in Scorpio on the 15th. Super fab for starting a new business budget, opening checking accounts, getting your financial act together. Intuition is king today, so trust your gut. If you get a hit about any given situation, go with it. This would also be a stellar day for new financial partnerships. Any began on this day can thrive for both parties. Set intentions around money, taxes, power, and transformation. All right, where was I? Kazemi moon. Fantastic time to start something new. If you feel like sleeping in, go for it. Moon is void at 6:13 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time, ideal for a lazy Sunday morning. Once it darts into Sagittarius at 10:47 a.m., you'll want to hit the ground running and get your morning popping. This is a superb day for broadcasting your work, so level up your PR game and let's make some noise. This is also an excellent moon for hitting up publishers. Get your book proposal together today and you'll be ready to deliver it on Monday. Hey, I mean, guys, we are in National Novel Writing Month. And you may already have a sense of wanting to get your book published. You may already have a sense of sample chapters at this point. So why not? And if you don't feel like publishing, then don't do it. But if you do, it's a good time to send this out for book proposals. Watch out for power mongers and passive aggressive types at 2:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when Venus squares Pluto. Erect ironclad boundaries, and remember, no is a complete sentence. Practice that word with glee, and you'll stay out of the drama and on your hustle. By the way, guys, really, really quickly, plug for Card Slingers Coast to Coast. The newest episode is up today, and it is called Shields Up. And it's about setting boundaries. So remember, a few episodes ago, maybe a couple of months ago now, I did do a very quick workshop on boundaries and boundary setting. This is the episode of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast that I was mentioning back then. We recorded it back then, and so it's being published. It's being released today. It's already released. You may want to check out that episode. Remember, no is a complete sentence. I think I say it a couple of times in that episode. So Saturday is a power day for Scorpio, weekday for Taurus. Sunday is a power day for Sagittarius, weekday for Gemini. Whew. Like I told you it has been a crazy week astrologically, and it's going to continue to be this weekend, but nothing too bad. Just stuff to look out for, right? Oh, link to the, so Bridget, hi Bridget. Link to the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast. Let me go ahead and do that right now. I'm just going to give you the main link so that you have all the episodes. Episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts. I think we're on most podcast platforms, including iTunes and Spotify as well. But it is episode number 20, Shields Up, Learning Boundaries. And I will plop that in a second. Hold on. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and display that link as soon as it comes up. And I'm giving it in both places. So there you go. It's just cardslingerscc.podbean.com. That is where you can find all episode notes and also the episodes themselves, or you can just subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are liking what you're hearing, please leave us a kind review wherever you subscribe to your podcast. We would really appreciate it. Awesome. Great. Are we on Stitcher? Cool. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with Stitcher, but my fellow co-host Jamie is much better at podcasting, and she mostly does a lot of our podcasting stuff, and also her wonderful wife Kendra is our audio editor. So that's the reason why we sound so great. It's Kendra. Kendra, thank you. All right. Oh, okay. Finally got into listening to the podcast. They've been fun. I will definitely listen to the boundary one. It is my issue. Hey, same, really. And I don't know if I cover it in this episode. I hope I do. But I really want to stress, I know I definitely did in the, in the video episode, the past episode, when I gave a quick workshop on boundaries. Setting boundaries is one thing, but then when the boundaries are tested, that's another thing entirely. And you do have to expect it. As soon as you set a boundary, expect to enforce it almost right away, because it's almost as if the universe tells you, are you sure? You will get tested on your boundary pretty much as soon as you set the boundary, you will get tested on it. So yes, on Google Podcasts too. We're all over the place. You can't shake us. Yeah, so that was a really fun episode to record. And I happened to record that episode at the same time that I was teaching a workshop on boundaries to my coven. I ended up teaching that same workshop to you guys on that episode. So it was I was a boundary bitch for a week and a half. It was all I was talking about, all of that time period. So, boundaries are important. They just are. And it's kind of amazing that the family stuff is all kind of rooted in boundaries and enforcing those boundaries, because your family members are the ones that you grow up with. This is where you learn your values from. And for some reason, we don't get taught boundaries from our family unit, and they end up being the people that cross those boundaries. So we don't really learn as children about this work. We kind of have to figure it out as adults. And most of the issues that I see with boundaries usually happen boundaries and family members. So that's a really tough area to establish boundaries in, because those are the people that know you the best and know where to push your buttons and know where to hurt you. And yeah, it becomes very difficult. And sometimes a result of enforcing a boundary that you feel strongly about sometimes results in estrangement and having to cut that toxic person out of your life. It's hard, it's very difficult, but I am speaking from personal experience here. I hate when people are just well, it's your family, oh, it's your mother, it's your father. And it's just yeah, and they should they should be held accountable for their actions and for the consequences of their actions. I said this was a boundary. They crossed this boundary. They continued to do it. You know, I had to make a choice between a happy life or a toxic relationship. So, yeah, exactly. Family trash your boundaries constantly. Yeah. So ultimately, it becomes a question of, am I going to let that happen? Am I going to? Or am I okay with that kind of like halfway, you know, or the agreeing to disagree? Unfortunately, there are some things that agree to disagree doesn't work. That doesn't work, especially if it's about politics that affect people's human rights and right to vote, right to live, right to not be discriminated against. Like, I'm sorry, no, there's no agreeing to disagree there. That's your being an asshole or a racist or a misogynist, you know? So if you don't like what I have to say, you don't have to watch the episode. All views are my own. And I've been a witch and a liberal for many, many years, and you're not going to change my mind that, you know, human rights are important. So boundaries are very, very important. If that's something that you guys want to work on, we have a past episode about boundary setting. And we also have the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast, newest episode number 20, Shields Up. We do focus mostly on learning boundaries in the context of tarot reading, because that is kind of like what our podcast is about. But you really can take some of the things that we talk about in this episode and apply them wherever you need to apply your boundaries. So really quickly, the episode blurb is Melissa, Hilary, and Jamie take you on a whirlwind tour of boundaries and how you can use them in your personal, professional, and in-between times. Knowing your boundaries in these 3 areas helps you strengthen your practice and conserve your energy. And as they say, learn when and where to say fuck off. Well, I think that's me being quoted there. And actually in those show notes, I have a link to, I believe, the YouTube video on the surprise workshop on boundaries. So you can go ahead and check it out there. There's also a wonderful link from Ethany about Modern Witcher's Guide to Healthy Boundaries. We've got a lot of good reading, recommended reading there too, about unfucking your boundaries, Dare to Lead, Codependent No More, Setting Boundaries Will Set You Free. So we've got a lot of show notes for this episode because it's a hard topic. And, you know, in some places you need boundaries more so than others. Like I mentioned, I believe, in that workshop that I don't have any trouble asserting my boundaries or making my boundaries for my business because it's rooted in my ethics. Like, I don't really do health readings. That's kind of my thing. Or if I do health readings, I always give it with the caveat of, I am not a doctor. If I give legal advice, I am not a lawyer. All I can do is purport to read the cards. That's what I can do. And if you want legal advice, go to a lawyer. If you want a doctor's advice or a diagnosis, go to a doctor. All of these things, all of these specifics, you go to that expert. But if you want someone to read your cards, come to me or go to a tarot reader. So to me, that's very firmly, my boundaries on my business are very firmly rooted in my ethics page, which is on my website. And honestly, this is part and parcel of what I think of, what I think people should consider when they're considering going to a tarot reader. Making sure that if that person has a website, looking and seeing if they have an ethics page or an FAQ on their website, and taking that ethics page and matching them up to your own personal ethics will probably result in the right reader for you or the right match for you. If you go to a reader that has no ethics or no boundaries, it's might not be a good fit for you, or I don't know. But I have found that creating an ethics page and also adding to that ethics page and adjusting and adding my boundaries accordingly based on the experiences that I've had with clients, or what didn't feel right to me, or what didn't result in the best reading for that person. I go back and I look at my boundaries and I adjust my boundaries. For example, I don't do same day readings or emergency readings because personally, I don't think a tarot reading is an emergency. I also know that I need to prepare energetically for a tarot reading. I can't do that. I can't make that preparation if I get an emergency appointment and I honor the emergency appointment. Then I'm reading from a more frazzled state. And my client is also coming at that reading from a exaggerated, exacerbated, possibly anxious state because they think it's an emergency. So they're in emergency mode, fight or flight. And that just doesn't make for a good reading from my side of the table, from your side of the table. So that's the reason why I don't do emergency readings. I've tried. That is what I found to be true for me. So I don't do them. And that's my boundary. So you can see how it's easier for me to establish my business boundaries because it's my business. I don't have a boss for my tarot business. I'm the boss. So I can set my boundaries according to how I like to work and how I work best. Now, in a corporate setting, you might not be able to do that. But for my particular business, I can do that. However, when it comes to my family members, that's when things start to get a little bit squiggy. And it gets harder, and it gets harder for everyone. You know, like family stuff is tough, and I'm not going to lie or say that it's not tough. Boundaries can be very, very difficult. Boundaries in friendship. I mean, I mentioned it in this episode. Like you guys, you're going to want to listen to the episode of the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast about boundaries because I mentioned this. I have lost friendships because I was scared of asserting a boundary regarding my tarot reading. They wanted me to read their tarot cards, and they knew how I read tarot cards best. I read them best when I don't know the situation. And so they would deliberately not tell me about things in their life, knowing that as a tarot reader, I would read for them better. But as a friend, that's pretty shitty. I'm not allowed to know your life as a friend and give advice as a friend because you want my opinion as a tarot card reader, like more so, like fuck you. That's really shitty. So unfortunately, because of that, and because I wasn't strong in my boundaries, my friendships went because I didn't want to hang out with those people anymore. I didn't want to get the constant question of, did you bring your cards with you? When I want to go out for dinner and drinks with my friend. So you can see how boundaries can be very, very, very important. So check out that episode. So we did the astro-weather. There is no set topic today. Besides, if you do, I'm going to preface this, okay? This is not one card readings for general purposes or my love life or this and that. These I'm going to open up to one card readings if you are working on your Nanowrimo novel or if you're doing some writing, because we are bringing it back to the main theme of the month, which is National Novel Writing Month. So if you would like me to pull one card for a plot point that you may be having trouble with, for a character that is doing all the wrong things, and that's what my characters do. That's when I finally have like the sense that it's just like, okay, I can get this writing done because now my characters have started to take on a life of their own and I can't control them anymore. That's when I know I've got something good on the line there, and I just kind of like let them go and make their dumb mistakes. And I'm just like, damn it, main character, why are you doing that? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, ah. But it creates conflict and it keeps the story going and it keeps the word count going. So I also do want to remind people, get those words down. Do turn off your inner editor, please. Write for November, edit in December. Write for November, edit in December. This is mostly advice for myself, but it's for you too if it helps you. So go ahead and pop in the chat if you have a question about your writing that you want me to pull one card on. I'm happy to do that. I also want to reiterate, this book is really great, but there's a ton of free resources at nanowrimo.org. I will try and put that into the chat and display it. Of course, where's my tab? Here we go. And of course, if you're not doing it this month, but you want to attempt this craziness at another month, you can totally do that. And you can just have your goal of 1,667 words a day in a 30-day month, and you can get to 50,000. I'm not going to say easily. I don't think it's easy, but it is doable because I've actually done it twice, and I'm aiming for a third one this month. I've been really keeping on track. So, let me display this. Oh, okay. So we've got a question from Lisa. Awesome. I'm going to use the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot because that's the one that I have to hand right now. But actually, let me look at the question first. So this is the website for nanowrimo.org, which is national, the N-A, national, novel, N-O, writing, or W-R-I, and month, M-O. So tons of resources there. And I'm going to pull this up here. And I just want to remind people where you should be at right now. And if you're behind, it's okay. We're going into a weekend. Just do more on the weekend if you can. Just do what you can. You know, like, don't feel like a failure if you don't hit 5,000 words at the end of the month. Like I've attempted, this is, I think, my 6th year of doing NaNoWriMo, not consecutively. I've just, like, some years I just didn't do it at all. So I think this is my 6th year of doing it. And I've only gotten to 50,000 words twice. So I'm gunning for my 3rd time. But like some of the times that I signed up to do it, I just didn't do it. I crapped out at maybe 13,000 words one time. Can't remember the other times. But it's like, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. And just pride yourself in doing something unusual and something that not a lot of people do. And also know that a lot of people do it and do attempt it. And it's okay. I think any writing that you do is a good thing. And remember, you've got to write a lot in order to get through stuff. And sometimes you have to, like, write out the crap in order to get to the good stuff. So just write, you know, and edit later. So this is day 13. So your total word count should be 21,671 words by the end of today. I'm on track for that. I haven't done my writing session yet today, but I clocked over. Let me look. Because I always want to be transparent with what my word count is and what I'm doing. So let me look at my stats here. I am currently at 20,330 words. So I need to get to 21,671 words by end of day. Remember, 1,667 words a day will get you there in a 30-day month. Okay. So Lisa asks, I'm working on a new story, brand new idea I came up with this week. It's already turning out to be something very different than what I originally set out to write. Am I on the right track? All right. Lisa, if you want to be a little bit more specific, if there's something I can tell you about, like your character or antagonist, protagonist, any plot points. Otherwise, I will just read on, am I on the right track? Short answer is probably going to be, yeah, you are, because you're getting those words out. And like I was saying before, you know, I don't know if you're doing, so a story, I would assume it's fiction. But if it's not fiction, that's fine too. I mean, NaNoWriMo is supposed to be for fiction, but like people have taken it and done nonfiction with it. I think it's really up to you what you're comfortable writing, what you like to write. So there's really no rules besides here's the month, get to 50,000 words. Those are the rules. So take those rules and then break the rules. It's up to you. So if you want to elaborate a little bit more, that's fine. If you want me to just pull, am I on the right track? That's fine too. I mean, like I was saying before, I have gotten to the point now where my characters are starting to say and do things that I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's how I know I'm on the right track, because they've started to take on, like, I guess, artificial intelligence. Like, God forbid I actually publish a novel and people start to ask me, well, did you mean to say this? Like, I'm an English major, so I've studied a lot of different types of writing and different books and the hidden meanings underneath certain things. And oh boy, I kind of can't wait to have people analyze my work in such a way that it's just like, yeah, I wasn't thinking that at all. I just wrote this down and the character started doing this, so I went with it. Oh, well then, Lisa, you and I are probably on the same page here. Can I write this without it turning into a chintzy supernatural romance? LOL. We should talk. We should talk, because mine's kind of turning into that too. But I hope not. Anyway, I'll shuffle and I'll see what we get. Am I on the right track? I'm going to go with am I on the right track as the question. Let's leave the let's leave the chintzy supernatural romance out of it. Am I on the right track? And if we get the Lover's card, I'm just going to really, really laugh. So okay. So you're getting the 9 of Swords. You're not going to like this answer, first of all. Oh, I really like the type, how they depicted this. You're getting the 9 of Swords reversed. So to me, it's like, let it be. Like, whatever it is what it's going to be, and don't try and question it. Just run with it. Because to me, so nine of Swords is usually depicted as the card of nightmares. The traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you've got the 9 swords hanging over the person in the bed. They're kind of sitting up in the bed and they've got their hands on their head. And they're and it is kind of like the card of nightmares and overthinking and cycling worries to me. But you have it reversed, first of all, which is the reason why I'm saying, like, let that shit go. Like, let it just be what it is, you know, without really questioning it, without really overanalyzing it. Now is not the time to overanalyze it, or to analyze it even. Just like, get the words down and you can figure it out later, or figure out what it means later. Just write first. But the reason why I'm saying, like, oh, I really like this depiction is I'm holding it. It came up reversed. So the only reason I'm saying it's reversed is to, like, let that shit go. Like, I don't think it's really, like, yes, your anxious feelings are valid, but at the same time, it's like, it's not the time for that yet. Like, you don't need to analyze it yet. But the reason why I started laughing was, look at this beautiful, beautiful swan with a gold collar around its neck and a chain. and the chain is trailing down into the water. It's almost as if these thoughts about what's the brand new idea and it's turning out to be very different, like that is the problem with all creations, with all writers, with all artists, no matter what your medium is. That problem of it's in my head and now it's on paper and it looks like crap on paper, or it's not what I thought it was going to be, or it's different, as you said, or I can't get it out. Like I got it out and now it's just like bleh. So that's like the balancing act you got to find there. Like, when you're onto something good. You have your own barometer for knowing that it's something good or bad. But like right now, it's like it's not the time for it. Just get those words. Go get those words. And don't be dragged down by overanalyzing it, because overanalyzing it, it's going to kill the magic. And also, you've got 9 of swords, words. It's the suit of air, the element of air, and the suit of conflict and communication. It's a very writerly suit. So I do think you're on the right track, but that's like not even the point of it now. Write first. Get it down first. Let it be whatever it's going to be, and then analyze later. Does that make sense? Go ahead and say yes or no in the chat, or curses, Hilary. That's not what I wanted to hear, but that's what I needed to hear, because I'm kind of there too. Yeah, and I'll have beta testers for my novel if I do hit the 50,000 words. It's gonna. Ugh. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm definitely on that same page. Not to make a pun, but awesome. Yes, thank you. Okay, yeah, we'll talk, Lisa. We'll talk. Any other questions about your writing this month, and any encouragement that I can give you before we move on to the weekend forecast? I think I'm just going to have to keep this card out as a reminder for myself as well. So thank you for asking that question, Lisa. I think it's helpful to everyone, really, who has that problem of creation or creativity in whatever medium they prefer. And just like it's not matching up to my vision. I definitely feel that pain. And we're going to likely pull from the Pagan Otherworlds tarot deck for the weekend forecast, since it's right here. Sans this card, which is going to be my reminder to just write. And I do have a ton of tools for you guys. I have been using one called. So I used to use something called Fighter's Block, which was kind of a cutesy thing that you put a timer on, or you put a word count on, and you just write. And if you and you're like killing monsters while you're doing it with like your with the amount of words that you're writing. But if you stop, like that's when the monster attacks you. So you have to like just keep writing. There's no pausing, because if you pause, there's consequences for you pausing. So it's really good to like get your words out and not really overanalyze and not really overthink. But unfortunately, I think it's been discontinued. So I wanted to find something that was similar in that vein to like kind of keep me focused and keep me writing and not pausing and not questioning what I was writing. Like I was saying, my inner editor is my biggest enemy. And this is the reason why I keep on harping on it, because like, this is my biggest problem. So I want to like give you some tips and tricks that I use to tackle my biggest problem of like overcoming your inner editor. And there's literally a section in this book, No Plot, No Problem, by the founder of Nanowrimo, Chris Beatty, that talks about turning off your inner editor, like putting your inner editor in a box for the month. But I found there's a couple of different tools that allow you to do that. One is called Write or Die. And it gives you consequences. Like it goes like, and now I think it has like scary things, like where it like flashes like spiders on the screen if you like stop writing, or which I'm not down with. I can't do that. I will like be terrified. So I found something else called the most dangerous writing prompt, or the most dangerous writing app. And it is free. And I'm going to put it in put the link in here. And I will display it when it comes up. But what it does is you basically, you start the writing and you can set your session length regarding, like you can set it either to minutes, like time, or to a word count. And then you just start writing. And the caveat is you don't stop writing or else all progress will be lost. So if you stop writing, everything that you've written up until that point will disappear. So you need to keep writing until that session length is over, or until that word count is hit, and without pausing, which sounds crazy, but it's something that really works for me and it really motivates me. So let me just go ahead and display it here. But you also now have it in the chat, either over on YouTube or on Facebook, either or. You have it now. So you can try it out and use it and see if it works for you. I'm not promising that it's going to work for everyone. This is just something that I find personally helpful. If it's helpful for you too, mazel tov. Great. That's the reason why I'm saying it. If it doesn't work for you, try something else. Honestly, I think that National Novel Writing Month is something that is wonderful, and it exists not to hit that goal, but to aspire to write more, honestly. And anything that people can do to encourage creatives or encourage people to express themselves, I think is a great thing. So, so this is the most dangerous writing prompt app from squibbler.io. That's a free version, I think. I think you can also sign up. Let me look. Squibbler, I think, is a text editor as well. So I'm not signed up to that. This is just, I'm just using that particular portion of it, the dangerous writing prompt app, and you don't have to sign up. So use it in good health. I hope it helps you. Do we have any other questions about tarot and writing, or any cards that I need to pull for your particular writing conundrum before we move on to the weekend forecast? Let me know. I'm going to put on the timer that I love so much. Also with a kind of sad face, because rest in peace, Alex Trebek. Okay, I think it is time. Let us take a look at the weekend forecast. For this weekend, I'm going to pull from the Pagan Otherworlds tarot deck by UUSI. This was actually a tarot deck that was given to me by Melissa. Actually, Melissa Snova, I believe, gave me a copy of this. So thank you, Melissa. Only because I was whining about it. Sometimes whining works. Let me shift things around a little bit. All right, what do we most need to know for this weekend? Okay. So, what I would say, we are getting the 8 of Cups, which doesn't have a figure walking away, as in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it does have the 8 Cups, and it does have the seashore, and the moon is looking very pensive and kind of sad, kind of rolling his eyes toward the future. So I think the traditional keywords and meaning for this card apply. Really looking at an emotional situation that you're in and wondering, like, do I stay or do I go? This card usually represents needing to walk away from an emotionally charged situation. It sometimes can also indicate taking the high road, being the better person, and also sometimes taking that path that you know is more difficult, but you know is the right path in the long run. This also may be indicating really examining your relationships, both platonic, friendships, romantic, and asking whether or not you're putting in more than the other person. Is it an even exchange of energy, or is it one-sided, or is this a two-way street? All relationships have to have an exchange, or they have to be balanced. And if they're not balanced, that is information for you to evaluate and do with what you will. Yeah, it really is that kind of do I stay or do I go kind of energy that I'm getting here from the 8 of Cups. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Let me know in the chat. If you want me to pull another card, I will pull another card for the weekend forecast. But I think this is a very energetically heavy card, and it's not an easy card. It's not an easy energy to go through because there's so much that you need to that we all get out of relationships and give in relationships that we often don't think about. We just do it automatically because that's our past, or that's what we always have done, or that has been our role in relationships. So we continue to perpetuate those roles. This is also a card of examining your own baggage, relationship baggage, emotional baggage, and make sure that you're not taking that into the next relationship or in the current relationship that you're in. Really evaluating relationships for what they are and not what you are projecting them to be based on past experience. So it's a lot to think about this weekend, guys. And it's actually kind of not surprising that this card is coming up. It's a element of water because it's cups, but it also feels like a very Scorpio-esque kind of card. And we are in Scorpio season right now. Yeah, that's a good point, Dina. Sadness about another lockdown or another possibility of a lockdown, definitely. I mean, I'm in New York State. I'm in the burbs, and actually, I'm going to get tested tomorrow because I have been feeling under the weather, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So, and I've basically been a shut-in for many, many months. I really haven't been going anywhere, doing anything, and I'm feeling under the weather. It could be a change of season cold. I don't know, but I am feeling a little bit froggy. You might hear that in my voice. You know. So I'm going to go do the right thing and get tested. I am nervous. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you gotta do what you have to do and do what is right. So maybe that this card is for me too, in that sense. Yeah. Card, something to think about, to work through. Seems like a good card to me. Yeah, it can be a good card if you do examine those things. Some people, they see this card and they want to run away screaming from the card, not walk away from the relationship, but run away from the card and what it has to say. So, Dina's saying had to walk away from Thanksgiving plans. I am seeing other questions in the chat. This is not the space for free readings. If you would like to book a reading for me, you can do so on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. I'll display the website in a second. This is just the weekend forecast for the collective. Yeah, walking away from Thanksgiving plans for definite. I mean, depending on my results, you know, I might have to call my family and say, you know, I'm sorry, we can't come for Thanksgiving. And our plans for Thanksgiving were going to be very, very small to begin with anyway. We were not planning on doing anything big, and we were planning to be safe and stay distanced, all of that. So, but yeah, I hear you. Some of us have to walk away from that, do the right thing. Yeah. It's sad not to see people, Dina, but it would be worse if they or you got sick. That's the hardest part of all. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly why I'm getting tested tomorrow. So trying to do the right thing. So that is our weekend forecast, the 8 of Cups or the 8 of Chalices from the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot. So keep that in mind as you go into your weekend. I hope everyone is staying safe on that note. If you were looking for a reading, you can go ahead and book on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. I am available for readings over Skype, over email, and over the phone. No in-person sessions at this time because of exactly what we were just talking about. So it's much safer for me to read for you from my own home while you're in your own home. And I promise, a reading over the phone, over Skype, over email, it's just as good as an in-person session. I hope people have learned by now that energy is energy, and I can read for you wherever you are located in the world. In fact, I have one of my regular clients that I'm booked for tomorrow for a phone session, and she lives in Riyadh. So that is an 8-hour time difference. I know because I scheduled with her. So clearly it works. So keep that in mind when you're, even if you don't want a tarot reading with me or you want a tarot reading with somebody else, keep that in mind when you're asking for in-person readings at this time. You're probably not going to get one. And that's for your health and your safety as well as the readers. You know, like, let's touch these cards, get all of your stuff all over it. Like, and having the 6 feet apart, I'm not going to be screaming at you while I'm trying to give you your reading. It can be an intimate setting when you're in person and trying to sit next to each other and look at the cards together. Like, just get a phone reading, just get a Skype reading, just get an email reading. I promise you, it's going to be just as good. So. Yes, exactly. So I hope everyone stays well as well. So I think that's it for tonight's episode. I want to remind everybody that I do this every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I don't do one, I will usually say ahead of time that I'm not going to do one. And for this month, we are talking about tarot and writing. Last month we did spooky season, and so I went along with that theme of episodes. This month it's all about tarot and writing. So I may be coming back on Friday with a specific topic regarding writing and tarot, maybe giving a few writing prompts based on the cards. I can definitely do that. And in fact, I probably should do that. That would be good. And also checking in with you on your writing if you happen to be doing Nanowrimo like I am. But other than that, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm brainstorming what our theme will be for December. I am open to teaching all sorts of different topics about tarot and divination. If you have a specific request, you can go ahead and message me, and I will take it into consideration. Oh, thank you. So Dina says, thank you. I hope you're feeling better. Fingers crossed for your test. Thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Yes, good weekend to everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I am your host, Hilary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with your intuition. Because yes, my friend, don't argue with me. You too have intuition. Go ahead and book on my website if you want a reading. And until next Friday, I hope you stay safe. Stay sane. Good luck with your writing. Katie's saying that too to all the writers. Good luck with your writing. Yes, get in those word counts. Remember, November is for writing. December is for editing. Keep that mantra in mind and turn off your inner editor. Take care.